Manhattan in New York, which was put in place so that about 1,000 homes in New York could be lit up with electricity, and people could replace the candle lights that they had in the houses with light bulbs. And for the next 30 years, the killer app using electricity was a light bulb. And you wonder, like, when did really the innovation around electricity started happening? So you got to look at in the 1900s, the first electric fan came out. I mean, helping people cool off, but there were some limitations around how to use an electric fan. The vacuum cleaner, I mean, I kid you not, this is the first vacuum cleaner built out in the United Kingdom, which weighed around 300 pounds and probably required 5 people to move around your house. Imagine today, if you had to move around this vacuum cleaner, I'm sure the wives and the housemaids in the house wouldn't be too happy having this kind of model versus the Dysons that we have and the Hoovers that we have now. And then something revolutionary happened, which was the electric toaster was invented. And prior to that, the way you actually toasted your bread was put it on fire. And believe me, there were plenty of burnt toast that people had for breakfast. So, and you wonder, why do I have the circle around the socket over here? Well, it turns out the way to use this electric toaster was to put it up in the light bulb. I mean, the concept of actually using appliances was, hey, the reason why electricity used to be in your house was to light a light bulb. So when the iron came out, you had to take out your light bulb, put in your electric iron, and do the iron. And this is just to show you an example of a place in Disney World, which actually shows how different appliances, all connected up in the light sockets, running different things in the house. And then something changed, which I think was the second killer app that came out to utilize electricity. And that was the washing machine. It's really revolutionized the way clothes were washed. I mean, instead of rubbing and scrubbing at home, now you have something electric that you could use. But you can imagine the combination of a washing machine with water and electricity up in a light bulb. I mean, this thing was so huge that you actually had to keep it out on your porch. And really, in order for you to switch it off, there was no on and on switch. You had to yank off the wire, and you couldn't yank out the wire because it was screwed up into the light bulb. So in order for you to avoid a disaster of getting your clothes stuck or hair, in my case, probably that wouldn't have worked, you would have to run into the house, unscrew it out to make sure that you didn't have an accident happen. And after a lot of accidents, the next generation architecture came out, which was an electrical socket. And that really revolutionized how applications came on board. I mean, once the socket was built out, obviously the on and off switch was also conceived, and that really kick-started all things that we see today. And if I were to just really put the analogy in place, you can see that today, without even thinking, I mean, we're all sitting over, what really these applications did, and that socket did, was reduce the friction that we had with electricity and the applications. And if I were to chart the numbers over here, I mean, it's mind-boggling the growth that we're seeing. But if I were to chart the growth of the internet right now, I would put it somewhere between the washing machine and the TV. We're still in early ages of the internet, and there's a lot to look forward for in the future. Having a virus scan run my computer over here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And hence, I come into the argument, which was also the topic of my session, which is wallet in the cloud. What is wallet in the cloud? Yes, it's a pretty phone or a device in the cloud with a money sign in between, but it really is about how m-commerce and how mobile has really revolutionized our online time that we spend and how we are actually doing transactions. And the company that you can give a little bit of credit to is Apple. I mean, Apple really changed and paved the way how we started looking at applications that came on board. It was them who brought out the smartphone, which opened up the doors for a lot of the developers over here who've been able to build successful applications on the iPhone, and now Google competing with the Android and BlackBerry doing on their store. Hence, a lot of opportunities created by Apple. And when we talk about smartphones and legacy phones, the Symbian phones to a smartphone, the growth is phenomenal. Just alone in India, you have about 8 million subscribers join every month through different providers. That's Airtel, Vodafone, Aircel, Docomo. All of the mobile providers in India, it's about 8 million subscribers coming on board. And about 15% of them have smartphones. So the penetration right now of the subscribers coming on board is increasing day by day with a lot of those people utilizing smartphones. And there's a study done by Cisco which talks about by the year 2014 there will be 90% of the population in the world will have cell phones. And the cell phone penetration of internet usage is going to be far exceeding the electricity that comes to your house right now. So imagine 3 billion subscribers using mobile phones in the world versus the electricity penetration that we have, which I doubt it is 90% in the world right now. So I hear those statistics and I go, wow. And then we start looking into the social networks which have come on board. Facebook, ever since it opened up its platform, has really allowed developers to bring their applications online. Today, Facebook, out of the 400 million users which are on Facebook, 100 million of those actually access the Facebook site through their mobile devices. So while I'm out over here, if I would ever get this coverage from Vodafone in this building, I would be Facebooking and putting up my pictures of all the sessions that I've been doing. I hardly go to the website. You look at applications such as iPod, and I laugh. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of the application iPod? I'll give you two seconds about it. Simply put it, it's an application that a developer built on the iPhone to play dirty kinds of thoughts that you have. He sold this application, and in 2 days, he made $40,000. I mean, granted that after a while that Apple didn't want to have this high up on their ratings because they didn't want people to think that the applications that developers are building out on their platform have something to do with the thoughts, but at least it just showed the growth and the potential of actually building applications on the mobile devices. And the lines between offline and online are really blurry. I mean, the fact that we have more and more users using mobile devices, just alone in India, there's a lot of commerce that is done where people do top-ups and people pay the utility bills. Similarly in the US, on the iPhone, there's an application called Red Laser, which allows you to barcode scan items on your iPhone and get the price for it. Well, there's a developer and a company called Shop Savvy, which has utilized PayPal's APIs and takes it a step further. They not only allow you to scan the product in the store, but within the inline experience allows you to purchase that with comparison from all different stores. So imagine if you were at a local store over here at the mall trying to buy, let's say, a Nintendo Wii, and you know there are 4 or 5 of the stores out in the city. Well, if they can capture that data, allow you to barcode scan it rather than pick up the phone and call your friends and, hey, can you go check those stores out? You get that data on your phone right away and lets you know what's the best possible price available, either in a retail store or online, and allows you to buy the product that you're looking for right from there. And then we start looking at mobile transactions.